This is a breaking News Center 5 update. Police are getting ready to provide details on an emergency situation in Boston's Copley Square area. We're told one person was rushed to the hospital.
There you see the Commissioner Cox.
About 5:27 p.m. tonight, an off-duty police officer was inside of 569 Boylston Street when two individuals ran inside the establishment, being chased by an adult male armed with a knife. The individual was trying to attempting to stab the two individuals in the store, and the off-duty officer identified himself as a police officer, instructed them to drop the weapon, at which point the individual did not comply. The officer discharged his weapon to stop the threat, and the individual was struck. The armed individual was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced. The off-duty officer was transported to a local hospital for evaluation, and at this time there is no other reported injuries. We're asking for anyone that was in the area to contact the homicide unit at 617-343-4470. The Suffolk County DA's office is in the lead for this investigation, and Boylston Street between Dartmouth and Clarendon will be closed for a couple hours here until we wrap up this crime scene. We'll notify you via social media when the street reopens. This is a pretty tragic incident. We don't look for loss of life, so our condolences go to the individual who was killed tonight. We're proud of police officers who activate themselves, whether it's on duty or off duty, to try to save lives. But we're asking for the public support and help. If anyone was here, it's a pretty busy area, to contact us, certainly going forward regarding this investigation. Up next will be the district attorney.
Good evening. In tragic circumstances like this, as always, our thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of the individual who's been lost. And so we'll certainly remain to pray in that respect. Our office, Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, will direct and control this investigation. I'm on scene along with the Deputy Chief of our homicide unit. We have an active and ongoing investigation at this time. It's still very fluid. Thanks to the first responders and responding officers that arrived at the scene, there are a large number of individuals, witnesses who we're interviewing and who are cooperating with the investigation. That being said, we're also reviewing a large amount of video evidence in and around this area, in and around the establishment where this happened, and we have strong reason to believe that there are other individuals who were here, who know something, who witnessed something, who may have been involved, and we ask them to step forward. We need the help of everybody that knows anything about what happened here if we're to get to the bottom of it, if we're going to get to the truth, and if we're going to get to an understanding of what happened in this very chaotic situation. Thank you.
My condolences and all of our thoughts are with the family of the individual whose life has been lost, and I'm also thinking of all the people who were impacted here today in one of the busier parts of the city with this tragedy. I'm glad that the officer is safe and very grateful for a quick response from all of our first responders here, again, in such a active part of Boston. We know that anything like this that happens, any incident of violence, is deeply impactful. And so to anyone who was here also, we're grateful for those who are already working with the police to share the information that they have, or to describe what they saw or might have witnessed. we also just want to make sure that everyone also knows that the city does have trauma supports available, and so to anyone who might be seeking support on that front, we are going to be making all of the services available and accessible as well. Thank you.
Any questions? Commissioner, how was the officer injured?
The officer is he's being evaluated, but he didn't have any life-threatening injuries or anything of that sort. So currently,
Being evaluated for?
It's pretty routine. This is these incidents are pretty traumatic in general, or I don't really know all of that right now, but we'll describe that a little later on again.
Was he stabbed by the individual?
Not that we're aware of, no.
Commissioner, can you talk a little bit about the scene? We've noticed this Chipotle here. It seems that investigators are processing that as well. Is this limited to the Chick-fil-A, or are there other areas being processed?
So it's a DA's investigation. I'll say no. This is a pretty big investigation. It's the scenes could be a little larger than what Chick-fil-A is involved, and that's part of an investigation in general.
That's important to know. There's a lot that we don't know yet, and we believe that there are people that know what may have happened here, that did not make themselves available to the police. Many people did, and we appreciate that. But if there are other individuals out there that know about the circumstances that surrounded this incident, we need them to come forward, please.
How many do you all believe are out there that may have information that haven't come forward?
Well, the vast majority were very helpful, and are, as we speak, continuing to be helpful. So we don't believe it's a large number of people, a handful at best, maybe.
I know you said you guys are seeking answers. Is there any inclination as to what may have been a motivation for the stabbing attempt that precluded all of this?
All under investigation, way too early to tell.
Are we able to say whether these were young people, age range?
They were young people, as far as we know, but for some of them we don't know yet.
All right, last question.
Well, we know there's a lot of loitering in the area. There's a lot of delivery workers. Any idea of that?
It's all under investigation. We haven't identified anyone in any way.